So we are currently on our way back from Scotland again. But this time we were riding a new event in the UK called Grinduro, the mashup of two genres, enduro and gravel grinding.
It took place in Arran, Isle of Arran, on the west coast of Scotland, about 40 miles west of Glasgow. Flat times at Ridgemont High. You alright? Yeah, man. Go.
We had 4 stages. Stage 1 was about a 7.5k climb. Stage 2 was a technical undulating descent. Woo! Stage 3 was a fast fire road descent, and stage 4 was about 2.5k fire road climb.
It's worth pointing out that these 4 stages were part of a larger, roughly 65-kilometre long ride.
Yeah.
So for the whole day, you know, you had a certain time limit for the entire day, but you were actually only timed on these 4 sections. So the perfect kind of race for slackers like me who aren't actually that interested in riding hard, because you were only timed on those 4 parts of the day. Part of me's tempted to help him, but at the same time I'm not really interested. Since we were last together, we did the Jeroboam for our handful of fans. You'll remember that was quite an eventful affair for us.
Yeah, very, very memorable.
Well, and since then we did the Glentra 7, we raced that together.
Well, we didn't do a video on it, but we might as well say we went into it absolutely no expectations. We just kind of wanted to have a good race, finish, have a good time. Turns out we did slightly better and we came 3rd in our category.
10th overall.
10th overall, so we actually got on the podium, and like my first ever podium.
Oh, same, yeah.
So like that was real good fun.
It's a real rags to riches story for 2 chopper mountain bikes.
Yeah. For me, it sort of spurred on wanting to do a bit more mountain biking, a lot more just off-road riding, because off-road is better.
We've had a good season. It's been pretty packed with the Reaver and everything as well, so it was a real nice way to kind of come into this, to finish the season, I think, in a way, way more chilled out event.
Well, you say finish the season, we're halfway through summer.
I was up in Arran for the Wednesday. I was seeing Fabric. God bless you guys. Fabric in charge, seeing their new products for 2018. And you came up on the Friday, and you came bearing not great news.
I wasn't quite sure if I'd be able to ride.
We're stacked up on Moosley, my healthy boys. Got a bit of an injury from the young Reuben. Hurt his paw. You look like a seal. It's like a flipper.
We're super, super keen to go to the island because it's been described as like a miniature Scotland.
Yes, I'd heard of it as Little Scotland, and it definitely felt like it. It was funny because I was on the Isle of Man about a month ago, and that place is like stuck in the 70s.
Is that an abusive comment from a Manx citizen I see in your YouTube comments?
Sorry, Cav.
It's raining. It's going to rain all day and for eternity because it's Scotland. It's just absolutely trash.
We were let out in waves from a kind of mass start, and it was wonderful. You know, I had the Piper playing at the start and all the Americans going nuts for that. That was good fun. It wasn't cold, it was very warm for Scotland.
It was like just consistent rain, wasn't it? It was not heavy rain, nothing like the Jeroboam.
No. I don't think anything will match the Jeroboam rain.
It really didn't seem to put anyone off, and I think because of that chill nature about the event and the type of people that those events attract, no one was really bothered.
Your chamois may have been dampened, but your spirits were not.
Nice. Freeze rest legal, mate.
Freeze rest. No. Just headed out the village, then along a little bit of single track, and then we came out to a fire road, and you were feeling a little bit ropey with your hand.
Yeah, like just through the first track, sort of knew that my hand was going to give me some jip because there were some rooty bits and just a couple of dips, and you go to the bottom of it and it's a bit bumpy, and just every sort of vibration just jarred a bit, and it wasn't very pleasant, but I wanted to do stage 1.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual to have something that long, and all the better for being on gravel. And with all that said, you know, we were blasted down this fire road before the start of the segment, and as we were coming along, I kind of spotted the sign, and all of a sudden you were at the start of the segment. So we blasted off, and you hadn't realised.
No, I got caught out.
Yeah. So me and Benedict, who was with us, and fair play to Benedict. He's a friend of mine, but he's doing a little bit of work for Off-Road CC.
He took over GoPro GCs when I went back to the event village, so cheers Benedict.
Yeah, we kind of sped off, me and Benedict, which is very unusual for me to be ahead of Reuben on a climb for any length of time.
I was right on the side when I realised, oh crap, you know, it's the start of stage 1.
And we blasted off, and then, despite the fact you've got a horribly injured hand, you dropped me almost immediately because.
To be fair, you went off pretty hard. It took me a minute or so to actually catch you.
Just a minute on that 15-minute climb to catch me.
So, I had Benedict chasing me. It felt like it's a real effort. Yeah,
I think that's the cool thing, isn't it? Like where you've got these like really short sections where you can't really go full out. It's so much fun. You can like properly race, and then stand at the top and do nothing. It's great. Reuben,
I'm DNFing.
I had the most inappropriate tyres you can imagine. WTB Horizon tyres, which is a 650B, 47mm wide, slick tyre. Ideal for muddy conditions and loose gravel.
You were getting a bit of jip throughout the day, weren't you?
Yeah, I was getting a lot of beef, a lot of hate for choosing on the slick tyres, but they were amazing. I think I managed to run them at such low pressures that I had a massive contact patch. I think for gravel riding, where you've got tighter clearances, but you also want to keep rotating mass to minimum, I think 650B is just the way to go. And also in some ways, I'm not saying it's better, but in the mud, because they are slick, they didn't clog up the mud.
Yeah.
So I found that even though I'd slip about a little bit, I wasn't being slowed down and such, and it didn't really matter for that sort of event. But you know, I'm not the only one that had good experience with those tyres.
Ben Delaney out in Tour of Flanders and Paris-Roubaix, when we were out there earlier this year, he rode a Mason Bocker with, well, it's basically a monster cross bike. He said they were just incredible because he was swapping between that and the Scott foil. It had 28mm Hell of a North tyres. Even so, he said he'd take bigger volume tyres any day of the week because you get the comfort of a mountain bike tyre, you get less fatigue. As they say on cobbles, you know, look at a rider's elbows to see how shaky it is and how rough it is, and it's true. And you see other people like just rattling along, and yeah, Delaney's just sailing over it.
There's loads of sections in the day where I was all over the place, but it wasn't stressful enough to put me off. And for the sections where they were great, they were really, really great. So yeah, not the right choice for the day, but a good one nonetheless. Came down to our first feed stop of the day. Honestly, one of the nicest feed stops I've ever been to. It was cool because obviously we're stopped. It's already a party pace, so it was like just not moving basically at the feed stops. And you got to see all these really cool bikes and chat to people, and it was really nice, really packed space, and good to get out of the rain. But coffee is life. Leaving, I had such bad cafe legs. I was not feeling fresh, which is a very appropriate time for appropriate kudos to the fixie kings and prince of Scotland, Graham Cottingham, Stu Allen, who rode the entire day on a single front rim brake.
Yeah, what are rim brakes? Can you remind me?
An outdated technology.
Controversial.
Oh, we're gonna get you. I don't have to deal with it. I don't do the YouTube work. I'm just the face. You're the one that has to deal with the comments when we beef on rim brake. But yeah, those guys ran it on a single rim brake setup with their fixed gear Surly steamrollers, I think.
It's wild, man.
Absolutely wild.
It's getting the timing right for technical, you know, routes or rocks or drops, and I just don't know how you ride that. I literally don't.
And this is what's most impressive: is as soon as we headed out, we had this horrible little steep pitch out of the village, out of Van Lash. Stu and Graham were just beasting it up there, not fussed at all, smoothly pedaling their way up this horrible little climb.
But I think that's one of the great things about gravel and that scene is the variety of bikes that you can ride.
Yeah, we saw all sorts, didn't we?
All the cross bikes you can imagine, but even saw fat bikes.
There's always someone on a fat bike.
And
full spectrum of mountain bikes as well.
Oh yes, but then you have the traditional gravel rigs. You know, my bike was in full gravel mode, and it's cool to see the variety of bikes.
Rad little descent. It was quite hilarious on the slicks. Some really kind of sideways moments. Now we're just kind of mellow little climb heading up. Not totally sure where the next stage is, but feeling good. Having a good day out. It's horrendous weather. This is kind of adding to it. Thoroughly enjoying it. They'll obviously, they're obviously sad not to have Reuben joining us, but you know, his memory lives on. Oh, that's good sportsmanship, see? That's good. Oh, he's gonna get swept away by the torrent.
Oh, shite. I think that's what makes this sort of riding fun, where you're on that limit of control.
Yeah.
Where you can anticipate when things are going to go wrong, and that's where you get to ride, a little bit fast, get a little bit wild, get a little bit loose. But that sort of stuff where you're riding along and it's completely unexpected is when you injure yourself. And this was the last section that everyone had warned us about. Oh man, it was horrible, but great, but horrible. It took us on this crazy steep single track path, which in itself would be fine, except for there was a massive drop into the cliffs on the left below. So you got that real sense of kind of gut-wrenching anxiety about falling off your bike, and it's really steep, and it's really muddy, and it was really scary.
Do you do that thing where you ride where your eyes go, don't you? Like that's the instinct. So were you looking straight ahead, or were you just like distracted by?
I kind of rode like this the whole way along, just kind of sideways, just kind of a horizontal with a leg like this.
Like a border collie?
Like a border collie. I don't know a single person who rode that section without binning it.
Wow.
Like, it was just insane. Mountain bikes were sliding all over the place. I took an absolute flyer. I did a real good crash. I'm exaggerating when I say I'm right next to the cliffs, but in your head when you're riding along out of control, man, like, it's just not a good place to be.
Right.
I came down the steep little chute after sliding about for bloody ages, went over the bars, did a real good roll into the ferns. I kind of stopped upside down. It looked amazing. Didn't feel too good. Not sore, just filled me with anxiety. And I carried on riding and then realised that my stem was pointing at an angle and I couldn't really stop, so I kind of had a horrible little wiggle going down, and then eventually managed to sort myself out. And that was as close to the end of the day.
Oh shit, the bars are going to squint.
Yeah, I'm good. Are you good?
I mean, obviously you only rode a little bit of it, but you got a taste for the event.
I did, yeah.
But would you be going back, young Reuben?
Oh, for sure. Like, it's one of those places that I'd love to just go, even without a bike. So to go there with a bike and actually ride there, basically be taken care of.
I mean, I'd go back in a heartbeat. It was one of the most fun events I've done this year.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a real good chill vibe, but amazing riding as well that really pushes you if you want to, but without the stress of absolutely nailing yourself or like having to keep up with you.
I think it's great to see more off-road, non-mountain bike events in the UK. Although I did hear someone say that when someone rode past during the finish line on a soft-tail mountain bike, he said, "There goes the 2018 gravel bike."
Yeah.
It does seem like
It's like
hardtail mountain bikes, or soft tails at least, could be the perfect gravel bike, but only for the UK. I think pure gravel rigs have absolutely got their place in the States.
Yeah, we've got like long draggy sections where having drop bars is going to be like crazy useful.
Yeah.
But it's almost as if gravel bikes already existed in the past, and then we put flat bars on them with fat tyres and kind of slackened out the geometry, and then mountain bikes were born.
Yeah.
They're really good at everything.
What's the phrase? What's old is new and what's new is old, or something like that? I don't know if that is.
It's wise though, you sounded wizened. Sounded wizened.
I like the fact that gravel rigs exist and ride them in some pretty cool places. Mountain bikes, they just seem to make a lot of sense when descents like the ones you've been describing are so slippery and pretty technical.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds like that's a mountain bike descent rather than a gravel descent.
I think that's definitely
fair. Like you were moving into that sort of terrain with this event. It's quite unique. I should say that it's very unique.
I think the person that won overall was fastest in all 4 stages was on the mountain bike. The woman that was fastest overall was on a mountain bike as well.
Was, yeah.
Just some very cool bikes, like fixed gear, single speed, cross bikes converted to single speed.
I mean, I think you're going to get the impression from this video, and we've been discussing already in the car, that now we think that fixed gears and single speeds are cool. So I think that's probably our next project.
I think it's definitely our next experiment, because it could be awful and it could be the best thing we've ever done.
And as we know, when we have an unpleasant experience, it translates.
You're going to hear about it.
Peace out. All the best to everyone who made the event happen. It was such a fun weekend. Sincerely, we had an absolutely amazing time, and I hope it happens again, because we will be back. Right, what, just push stop, yeah?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.